NFL logos are a tradition in the league. There's no denying that. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't be improved upon. Even the best NFL logos have specific characteristics that you probably wish you could change. So, with that being said, let's get right into it as we point out one problem with every NFL team's logo. Arizona Cardinals. Talk about unoriginal. Now, I'll level with you on this. I don't know per se who copied who on this one, although it may be safe to assume that it was the football Cardinals copying the baseball Cardinals, considering the latter had been around since the early 1900s. Either way, I get that the two teams have the same name, and while I don't love that, I can accept it. What I can't accept is that they pretty much have the exact same cardinal. Atlanta Falcons. Falcon or robot bird? Okay, we have another rogue bird team. Take one look at the Atlanta Falcons logo, and please tell me, in what world does that look like a falcon? That looks more like some demonic robot bird. An absolutely desperate attempt at creating some sort of modern, intimidating look. In fact, I would go as far as to say that it kind of looks more like a crow than a falcon, if we're being honest. Baltimore Ravens. Just reminds me of Bitcoin. Regardless of what your opinions on Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies as a whole is, I think we can all agree on one thing. It is exhausting to hear about it all the time. So, while it's not the Ravens' fault that the bee in their bird's feather looks like the logo, we may as well do away with it at this point. Buffalo Bills. Where is the table? Bills Mafia has been and remains a darling of the NFL media for their pre-game shenanigans, including their calling card, the Table Smash. So, why not go all in on this? Let's get that Bill smashing through a table with a couple of beer cans gored on its horns. Who says no? Carolina Panthers. Where's the rest? Admittedly, the Panthers have one of the coolest logos in the league, but when you give an inch, I'll take a mile. And it would be awesome if they finished off that baller design and showed a full-length panther. That would make them a surefire contender for one of the top logo designs in all of sports. Chicago Bears. Bring back the bear. Chicago is one of those too common cases in which an NFL team had an awesome logo and then proceeded to absolutely mangle it as they moved on into the modern game. I mean, come on. That old school Bears logo is amazing. The bear is fearsome. The color scheme works for the team and that city. But now, all we have is that boring old C. Not to mention that weird point it has on the edge of it, which has never been properly explained to me. Cincinnati Bengals. We can spell. Thanks. Similar to the Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals are missing out on an easy opportunity to earn some style points for a franchise that is in desperate need of them. The Bengal is just such a cool animal, and there are a million different things that they could have done with it. And instead, we get this giant bee with only the tiger stripes remaining? What is it with these NFL teams and their damn giant letters? Whoever started this trend needs to be held accountable. Cleveland Browns. A helmet? Okay, so the Browns had a couple of options here. They could have brought back the old school Browns logo, you know, that nifty little elf-looking creature with the funny shoe and peculiar grin. Or they could have leaned into the whole dog pound thing they have going on and worked it into a cartoon version of Swagger, the team dog. Hell, they could have even rolled out a giant C or B like half the other teams in the NFL. But instead, they went with the most boring logo of all time. A helmet? Watch out, because next thing you know, the Washington football team will make their logo a damn football. Dallas Cowboys. Not enough Jerry Jones. Now, wouldn't it be the most Jerry Jones move of all time to take that iconic Dallas Cowboy star and turn it into a cowboy-esque recreation of himself during his younger days? You know, before the, years took their toll on him. It actually would be amazing. As much as this star is a staple of NFL history, a Jerry Jones cowboy would really be something. Denver Broncos. What you eatin'? The Broncos actually have a pretty decent logo. You have to appreciate an animal team actually using their animal for the logo instead of some other awful design. But that being said, you have to wonder, what in the world are they feeding that horse? I mean, look at that thing. Its cheeks are puffed out like you wouldn't believe. Kind of like Eddie Lacy towards the end of his NFL career. Detroit Lions. Kitty cat or lion? Like I said with the Broncos, kudos to Detroit for featuring their jungle cat as a part of their logo. I just wish that they would have done the King of the Jungle some justice. If it weren't for the bulging biceps and the slightly overgrown mane, I might not even recognize that as a lion. That thing looks like a mild-mannered house cat jumping on the couch or something. Green Bay Packers. Cheese, please. Now, I'm not saying that they should just make their logo into a wedge of cheese, like the ones prominently featured on the heads of the Green Bay fans all winter long, but don't you think they should at least try and work the cheese in there? Obviously, there's not much intimidating about a wedge of cheese. I get that. But it is such an iconic part of the franchise's lore, and you already know the fans would have a ball with that. Houston Texans. That's not a Texan. Okay, so you're telling me that their name is the Texans, yet their logo is a bull. Why not just call the team the Bulls then? Or better yet, how about we just go ahead and make the logo a Texan? This is actually one of the most nonsensical logos in the entire NFL. Indianapolis Colts. Weakest horseshoe ever. I mean, look at this thing. It barely even looks like a horseshoe, hence the whole weakest horseshoe ever deal. And the worst part is that it's just such a boring design. The horseshoe is poorly drawn and the concept is flawed. The least they could have done was flip it sideways so it's at least a horseshoe C for Colts. Jacksonville Jaguars. Those colors though. Some of the more superstitious sports fans out there believe that the color scheme of their team's jerseys have an impact on how they play. Oh no, the home whites! We have no chance tonight! While I tend to skew away from superstition, the Jaguars' color scheme would explain why they've been the laughingstock of the NFL pretty much since they entered the league. They look like a failed Arena League franchise. Kansas City Chiefs. Will it last? The Chiefs are on top of the world right now. They have one of the best coach-quarterback combos out there. But all good things must come to an end. And don't be surprised if part of their downfall includes a forced changing of their logo. I know they're on the safer side of things compared to Washington's old logo, but with the way the world is today, I doubt Kansas City has the same nickname in 10 years. Las Vegas Raiders, that old school sword. Overall, the Raiders logo is still pretty fresh. There is no denying that. I just wish that they would pay homage to the original design and keep those vintage-looking swords with the colored handles on the new Vegas branding. That, plus the Raider head being mounted on a mustard-colored football. That was quite a look, and one that would really vibe with the whole bad boy move to Las Vegas thing they have going on. Los Angeles Chargers. Boltman! Okay, Chargers. You already broke his heart by moving the team from San Diego. Now, let's make things right and make Boltman the official logo of the team. Pay him $50K a year, get a cartoon version of him done up, and let's make it happen. It sure would be more exciting than a lousy lightning bolt. Los Angeles Rams. Bring back the sheep. There have been very few things more universally hated than the Rams' new logo change. They have to go back to the basics and turn their logo back into the bighorn sheep. I know that doesn't really fit their sleek LA vibe, but neither does Sunday afternoon football. Maybe a bit of compromise will get some of the real football fans out of their houses to shell out their hard-earned dollar for those overpriced tickets. Miami Dolphins, bring back the helmet. Whose idea was it to take the helmet off the Dolphin? I demand to know, because that made the whole thing just work. A dolphin really isn't the most intimidating team mascot, but strapping the helmet on its head just added such an awesome element to the whole look. It fit perfectly for the city of Miami. Minnesota Vikings. Time for a trim, Mr. Viking. I have to wonder if Marvel is paying Minnesota a commission to have a Thor lookalike as their logo. Many just decided to strap on a neat little stash to try and make him blend in with the local vibe. That look might have flown back in the day, but I think this Viking needs a fresh cut and maybe a shave. New England Patriots. Is that Tom Brady? Listen, I know that Tom Brady was a big part of the Patriots organization. He'll go down in history as the greatest player they ever had. But does that mean the Pats need to use a logo that has a striking resemblance to the former Patriots quarterback? The high cheekbones, the jutting chin, the stoic disposition? They may as well have plastered TB12's face on their helmets. Maybe then he wouldn't have jettisoned off to Tampa Bay and left the Pats in the dust. New Orleans Saints. What does this even mean? So the Saints logo is a rather, touchy one. For starters, no one ever remembers what the symbol is from, or for that matter, what fleur de lis, the name of the symbol, even means. Alright, let's do a quick crash course. It has nothing to do with saints, obviously, and while it is seen as a symbol of the state of Louisiana, it was actually originally used to mark runaways in French Louisiana. Why the Saints decided to use it? Well, your guess is as good as mine. New York Giants. What a giant disappointment. For a letter-only logo, the Giants logo isn't all that bad. There's something intriguing about the wavy lowercase n and y. It works for them, I'll admit it. But even so, this is another team that has an awesome team nickname that does not even bother to pay it homage in the team branding. It's just kind of disappointing that they don't have a big, intimidating giant holding a pea-sized football on the sides of their helmets. New York Jets? Why no jet? To be honest with you, the Falcons logo looks more like a jet than anything that the actual New York Jets have rolled out in the past 50 years. The Jets logo is a complete embarrassment, much like their team on the field. Some big white block lettering inside of an egg-shaped football with the same font that you use to make your elementary school book report look fancier. What a missed opportunity. The Philadelphia Eagles. You're going the wrong way, Bird! For those of you who haven't noticed, the Eagles logo is the only logo in the entire league that faces left. That's right, much like the team itself as of late, their logo is also headed in the wrong direction. The reason for the left-facing bird was to accommodate the hidden E in the bird's feathers on the right side, although most fans have probably never even noticed it before. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Nice shapes, but it's confusing people. Alright, so if you ask me, this should just be an old-school steel mill worker. But I'll digress from that point for a second. The Steelers logo is based on the steel mark logo belonging to the American Iron Steel Institute. So, while it makes sense for the Steelers, it isn't overly clear to the modern fans what it's all about. San Francisco 49ers. Boring. For one of the NFL's most historic franchises that has actually remained relevant over the years, this logo leaves a lot to be desired. Why not make a cool logo based off an actual 49er? Or even Sourdough Sam? The Seattle Seahawks. What is on your mind? Has any logo, bird or not, ever looked more confused than the Seattle Seahawks logo? Look at this guy. He is beyond locked in. But on what? You have to wonder if he's getting into some of Pete Carroll's secret stuff with all that focus. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We miss Bucko Bruce. Okay, I know I've been a little hyperbolic so far, but I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that bringing back Bucko Bruce is the single easiest decision any NFL franchise has never made. That guy was as suave as they come, and now all they have is that boring skull on the tattered flag. Tennessee Titans. So, is that a titan? As far as I know, a titan is a sort of giant being from Greek mythology. But I have no idea where that gets worked into this logo design here. I mean, I get the T, but the sword? I don't know. Give me a proper titan and I think we would really be in business. Washington football team. Well, where is it? As happy as we are that Washington finally got around to the rebrand, I do have to say the least they could do was get us a real logo. I mean, just a W. Seriously. Great, guys. Really great. But hey, which do you think is the worst characteristic of your favorite NFL team's logo? Join us in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.